hmm
All right, so every once in a while you meet somebody from El Salvador who is a Bitcoin junkie, who is a crypto queen, who is teaching people how to be financially free. Megan, talk to the world. Tell them who you are.
What is up, everybody? My name is Meaghan Monroe, and like you said, I'm a little bit of a Bitcoin brat. I'm not from El Salvador. I am from Oregon, which the 99% of even people in the United States don't know where that state is, but it's between California and Washington. I came here about 10 months ago to have my child. I flew 18 days before my due date, had my baby here, and she got to have an extra passport for an $83 ticket out of Miami. I call that good financial planning. Um, I've been here for about 8 months learning how to establish my business because it has El Salvadorian nationality, it can receive Bitcoin payments as legal tender, which removes that capital gains tax liability from being in the United States and receiving my, gains as a United States citizen to utilizing my business as the vehicle to receive Bitcoin payments and liquidating my Bitcoin as legal tender through my Bitcoin business. So that's what we're doing here.
What's your favorite Bitcoin wallet? Like, name three that you love the most.
I actually don't even use centralized wallets. I use a wallet app called Token Pocket, and then I have my own wallet called Crown Wallet. So that is,
Your wallet, you've actually made it?
yeah, I'm a blockchain developer.
Good for you.
Yeah,
And what's it called? Crown?
Crown. Yeah, it's
Is it
because
mobile or is it web-based?
it's both.
Way to go. Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I have my own blockchain too, but we can talk about that later.
Let's talk
Um,
about it now. What's it called?
Ecclesia. It's called Ecclesia. It's like the body of Christ, and this is the age of Christ consciousness in the collective. And so, what Ecclesia does is it helps you protect your soul's expression. You come in establishing your common law trademark by putting your name as a domain. And then from there, any content that you produce, any smart contracts that you engage in, anything that you distribute or engage in the sea of commerce in on the blockchain, that is protected under that trademark through common law. And
So
then,
is it your own blockchain chain
yes,
from Genesis, or did you fork a different chain?
from Genesis.
Whoa, that is so cool.
Yeah, the people who developed our blockchain developed the blockchain for the Prime Minister of India. So we worked together with a group of over 80 developers, and we've kind of like
Prime
got,
Minister Modi?
huh?
Prime Minister Modi?
Yeah,
I didn't even know he had a blockchain.
yeah. A lot of people don't know where the world's about to go with crypto, but you're kind of seeing it. If you look at Tether over the last 3 weeks, the news with Tether, you see this assault with XRP launching their stable token, right? And then you see all of a sudden Tether's being delisted from here and here and here because the central bank is trying to gain control of this like stable token central banking system narrative and remove the decentralized, centralized infrastructure that we've all been utilizing. But the mass majority of all countries are coming into this new blockchain based banking system. And the mass majority of the people not involved in the Commonwealth are facilitating their own sovereign infrastructure. So yeah, they have their own
I've been a
blockchain.
huge fan of Tether for decades now, for a long time. And Paolo and his team are doing a great job. Like the way they've managed Tether, even with all the attacks that they've taken, is amazing.
I can agree 100%. And I also know that Tether's not going anywhere because unbankable countries like Dubai, like Russia, et cetera, interface through those type of platforms, and their business is just as big, as the Commonwealth. So I'm really interested to see kind of like what it's like when you have like Reptar and Godzilla in the form of like XRP stable token and then USDT and like what that looks like from a centralized versus sort of decentralized stable token. So it's fun.
You're referring to Tether as decentralized, right?
Yeah, it is centralized, but it does service like you can hold Tether without having all of your information out there. Whereas like if you're interfacing with what's going on with the USDT or the RX, I think it's RX US. I don't even know what they're RAR, the new RAR. Um, that's going to be a different story for people, and it's more institution based. And so, like when I say decentralized finance, I'm talking about like any individual can go and scoop something up and participate in it, whether that is backed by one central location or not. It's not like you can shut off your USDT holdings.
Well, wait till one day when Ripple has some sort of centralized attack, because when you have a central point of failure, one day down the road, whether it's through a social hack or maybe an employee gone rogue, all it takes is one crack, one assault on their system, and you'll see that people will embrace decentralization as literally the best way to protect your money.
Yeah, which is why they utilize brainwashing to kind of get people to look the other way because they, fear mongering, etc. Instead of people understanding, like you see something like that. Was it Luna, where it got depegged and then like was drained within like, seconds? Or you see when last year or the year before, I think it was last year, Binance Smart Chain was completely shut down when someone tried to move $50 million. And that, even though I was grateful that they were able to stop it from being swapped out of the ecosystem, it still was too quick of a shutdown for me to feel really too safe about how that blockchain operates as a whole.
Are you talking
Right?
about BNB or?
Yeah, BNB.
Yeah, I mean they've done a good job. They've had their challenges, but they've done a good job, and they're basically a fork of Ethereum.
Yeah. What I mean from the perspective of like being able to turn off an entire blockchain, you have to be able to communicate with everyone and be able to say like turn off your validator, right? Turn off your node. Like if it was Bitcoin, they'd have to put the whole network to sleep to be able to stop something like that. And so for me thinking, oh, this platform is the mass majority decentralized when really it was able to be switched off within 5 minutes.
I think Bitcoin is beyond that now. It's
Oh,
come on.
Bitcoin way beyond it. Bitcoin is way beyond it. There's no way.
Talk a little bit about how Bitcoin has made El Salvador a better place as a better country.
Okay, so I want to compare it to Lebanon right now. Lebanon's war torn, right? And they're dependent on the dollar. What happened when this stuff kind of escalated like 3 to 5 years ago? They took the United States dollar liquidity out of Lebanon, and then all these millionaires in the United States dollar weren't able to access their funds, and they became broke overnight. In El Salvador, the United States dollar is the other legal tender. So there's no Salvadorian colon or et cetera, et cetera. It's United States dollar and Bitcoin. If you look at the attacks on United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve and the central bank when it comes to how the world is developing these alternative currencies as like a world reserve currency, and then how El Salvador was affected in 2008, 2009 when the housing market crashed, you see that El Salvador's main source of trade.
Did the housing market crash in El Salvador?
That's kind of what I'm getting to. So
Oh,
the way that our recessions affected El Salvador was severe. And it caused the poverty levels here to just decline like insane because the mass majority of remittances into El Salvador come from United States Salvadorians. And one of the things that I was looking at when I was like, okay, how is, if the United States goes through kind of like a reconstruction, which is what I'm kind of expecting with what Trump's going to do, and we go into some sort of like financial crisis because of the attack on our currency, what is that going to do to El Salvador? And Bukele coming in and making Bitcoin legal tender gives them a way out if the dollar starts falling. And that's something that I was like really impressed with. And then when you come here, even though it's not as efficient as, you know, a first world country American like myself would like to experience with Bitcoin, it's common enough that I can buy all of my everyday necessities and pay my bills in Bitcoin completely. And so for me, that allows me to move huge amounts of resources into the country. Whereas if I'm trying to rely on the central banking system, I can't wire myself $100,000 into my Salvadorian nationality bank account that I established here for 3 to 6 months. Right. And so if you're coming here and you're trying to get ahead of this curve right now, being able to utilize Bitcoin to kind of get around the fact that the central banking system has failed countries like El Salvador and they only have access to third tier banking, if that, which is like, Swift access and all of those things that's limited to these people.
yeah.
And so,
SWIFT was a huge foreign policy nightmare that I think brought upon the world the BRICS network, BRICS. So
yeah,
I think our foreign policy actually pushed countries away from SWIFT, and they realized, wait a second, if America decides to shut us off, we don't have access to our money, and that's beyond our acceptance.
You're 100% correct with that, and that's exactly the crisis that I'm referring to. And what Bukele, by making the Bitcoin legal tender here and creating that reserve, he's shifting that dependency on the United States dollar, its performance, and the trade. Because since Biden kind of dropped the ball on that relationship over the last 4 years, he's also established himself in the world in different ways. That's setting up the Salvadorian to not necessarily have to be worried about what kind of financial crisis the United States is going to go through during this time. And that's what I'm really excited about, being planted here with my little family, because I have a brand new baby. Like I said, I had my baby here 9 months ago, and then I have a 10-year-old, right? So for me,
Where's your 10-year-old? Down in El Salvador?
oh, he's right over here in the other room being quiet like a good boy. My baby, on the other hand, is over there yelling.
Give him a photo bomb opportunity. Tell him to say hi to
Can you come here and say hi really quick?
the world wants to meet you.
The world wants to meet you, Spencer. Come here. Ahora.
Is that Spanish?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Right now.
Oh, right now. Chop, chop.
He's not doing it. Okay, the phone's mine now.
All right. Wow, nice water bottle. Or yeah.
Thank you. So this is my I'm gonna get work done bottle. It has a texture on it that makes my hands feel awesome, and it also relieves like pressure points. But when I am about to do something big in business, I buy a new Starbucks cup. So this
Awesome.
is my current, yeah.
I love that mindset. You feed your brain something and you say, okay, I'm buying this because I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I've learned to do that for myself. Since I've been an entrepreneur, just to go back to the beginning, for 10 years. I was 20 years old. I had just had Spencer. I was a single mom, just left an abusive relationship with his father, and left a job where I was working at a mill as a utility, because I'm super smart and I like to learn things really fast. So I was like the person breaking all of the people doing their jobs, driving forklift, running a Skinner saw, laying up plywood, like all this random stuff. And I was dealing with a harassment situation with my foreman. And at the time, I had never seen like a Mercedes-Benz, a Lexus, any sort of nice car. But this guy drove by in this nice car, and I was like, "What kind of car is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I earned it from this company that I was in." So I started network marketing with him,
Oh,
because
awesome.
like, I want to do that. And two
Were
weeks
you
in,
were you on the Zoominar that we did on Saturday?
yeah,
So John Solider is huge in network marketing, especially in the Latin countries. I don't know if you mentioned, remember John Solider? He was the
yeah,
last speaker.
yeah. I have a meeting with him tomorrow.
Oh, connections, baby.
Right?
The world is
You
all about
built
connecting with the
that.
right
I
people.
love that 30-minute like precursor where everybody got to come together, kind of share who they were, and then like connect. Because I think that's so important nowadays. We're kind of having these like super big crescendo moments of like awesome Zoom meetings, and we have no clue the other 200 people on the line. It's like
Yeah,
something.
I think it's important that people make connections whenever they can. What?
I agree 100%. No, I was just my family started consolidating once we invited in the 10-year-old, and then all this background noise was like, okay, hi everybody.
Yeah, they're like, we can make noise now. Don't worry about it.
Liberty.
What do you want?
No, you're not over here being sweet. So go on.
No, what do you need
No,
me to
go
do?
on. Go
Oh,
check on
come on, put him on the camera. Get over here,
come
kid.
around here.
For the love of God. Show your face.
Come say hi. There we go.
What's up?
Say I'm Spencer and I'm gonna be a famous YouTuber.
No,
You're not going to?
I don't want to be a YouTuber.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Have you seen?
What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be?
Take your time. That's not a hard question. By the way, how old are you, Spencer? Well, listen, at 10 years old, I got news for you. You can literally take every day for the next 365 days and just take it one day at a time and start understanding that whatever you want to become, it's right in front of you. There's nothing you can't choose to do. You're literally at the beginning of your journey of life. So don't feel any pressure. Whatever you want to do, let it come to you. It'll talk to you.
Is there anything that's talking to you right now?
Mm, my delicious food that I have cooking.
You have something cooking, or are you talking about our cinnamon rolls that are rising?
Our cinnamon rolls.
We
Oh,
prep some.
you guys are making cinnamon rolls?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you a question about your cinnamon rolls. Do you put raisins in between it?
No, only psychopaths do that.
Okay. Do you put
Um,
icing on top?
Yes.
Do you like the icing?
yes.
Okay. What's your second favorite dessert item, bakery item?
What's your second favorite item at the bakery?
What bakery?
Anyone.
I
Would it
don't.
be between donuts or chocolate chip cookies? Either? No?
My favorite dessert item is chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
I'll be honest with you. That's a big hit. I'm a big fan of chocolate cake. Well, Spencer, it was nice meeting you.
Okay.
I'm going to interview your mom and have her tell her story for the rest of the hour.
Okay, well, can I have the back?
Yeah. Can you close this door for me?
Ah,
Unless Daddy's in the living room or the kitchen. Once he goes out, close that door for me.
Good
Okay.
kid.
Thank you. He's wonderful. He's very shy, takes it out aggressively on whoever's trying to engage with him.
Okay. Who he is today at 10 years old is going to be different than who he's going to be at 20 and who he's going to be at 30. So he's just going to grow and grow and grow into the person he's supposed to become. Who he is today is just who he is today. That's it.
Absolutely. And he's wonderful.
So talk a little bit about the university and what you're doing down in El Salvador. I find that super interesting.
Okay, so we have kind of like found ourselves as we started developing blockchain infrastructure that there's zero education out there, right? Even myself as somebody that like went into wanting to create my own blockchain so that I had sovereign infrastructure, there was no education. And so I started Eden, which you saw in my seal, Economic Defense Education Network. That's what that is. And what I'm doing is educating people right now through Eden. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, rebellion,
Kids,
complete rebellion. Um,
who said having a kid was going to be easy?
they never did, thank God. There was no false advertising with that one.
Yeah,
Um,
it takes a lot to be a single mom. It takes a lot of planning, organization, patience, psychology, strength.
and fast productive production 24/7. If I'm going to get anything done, grow a business, whatever, I got to be able to do it in 15 minutes where somebody else takes 15 days, like that. So for now, I have great help. In El Salvador, it's been easy to establish like help in the house and help for the business, etc. So I'm grateful for that. But oh my goodness, it's still a gauntlet every day. So back to what back to what we were saying. I established Eden University online to be kind of a portal for businesses looking to establish some sort of Web3 integration to kind of get ahead of the curve. When we came here looking for a beach property because there's no 5-star resorts in El Salvador, but people are flocking here like crazy. They have the highest number of reverse immigration, meaning Salvadorians coming back to El Salvador, and they have a huge influx of expats worldwide here. I mean, all kinds. We will go to the
It's
grocery.
partly because of their Bitcoin policy. It's really been very appreciative.
Absolutely. That's a huge part of it. And then it's beautiful here. You come here and it's a lot like Florida would be like
What's the weather like today?
hot, warm. It's like it's palm trees and sunshine and smiley people. El Salvadorians are really happy and they work hard and honestly. So the weather was wonderful. But we were looking for a beachfront property and we ended up finding like I think it was 1,200 meters of Pacific Ocean beachfront in the most beautiful type of beach. Because in El Salvador, you will find like 7 different kinds of beach. But ours is the most gorgeous like sand ever. And so everything we're about is blockchain, biohacking, and broadcasting. And we're bringing forward Bitflix, which is a blockchain enabled broadcasting platform for both live and on-demand video. And then the university itself is a place for businesses, people to come experience, establishing an entity here where they can interface with Bitcoin in a safe manner where they're not being, every $1 million you earn in Bitcoin, you have to pay $400,000 in capital gains tax roughly in the
Where?
United States.
Oh, in the United States.
Yeah. So
And
If
then
somebody,
what's the capital gains in El Salvador? Zero, right?
there's no capital gains because it's legal tender.
See, that's the way it should be treated. I don't know how they treat it as investment tools when it's basically a new form of currency.
It is. That's all it was created to be. But they're going to do whatever they can to keep people in fear. It's kind of like that beneficial ownership documentation thing they were trying to force on people. And then now they can't even do that, right? So everyone went and registered themselves as the beneficial owner because they were terrified of this giant
I think
multi.
Trump is going to be a godsend for the crypto space over the next 4 years. And plus, David Sachs, I know David personally. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Trump is going to be transformational for the space, and I can almost guarantee you that he's going to be a lot like how Bukele came in and cleaned El Salvador up to the United States. And I know that's what we need, because it's scarier to be in the United States as an American than it is for me to be in El Salvador. When I go outside in America, I'm scared my kids are going to get kidnapped. And even in nicer conservative communities, I still feel that way 24/7. Here, I was walking at 5 a.m. with my baby in a carriage, and it's buenas, buenas, which means, like good, like good morning. That's what they say here. And you're
What?
vigilant.
What's the word?
Buenas, like
One.
buenas noches, buenos dias, but they say it shortened in El Salvador, so they say buenas, and it's like good, it's good, it's good, and that's what it is here. Everything's good. It's just good.
That's awesome. Have you had a chance to meet Max and Stacy? Max
No,
Kaiser?
I got the closest I got to them was I went to a Bitcoin event and they were speaking at that event, and then I had to go because my baby was brand new. But no, I haven't got to meet them yet.
I'll introduce you guys. They're great people.
That
Are
would be
you, are you on X, the social media platform?
Yeah, yes, I am. I'll get you that information.
Yeah, we'll connect that way.
Perfect.
Most of our conversation, at least in crypto, is on X.
So here we're doing the blockchain university, and then we're doing the resort, the Bitcoin resort, which is going to have the biohacking clinic in it. That's how we encountered Diana. She's working with Top Doc, and they had the biohacking clinic in the Four Seasons. Mark was one of the first people to set up a biohacking clinic in Canada, and 2 years ago I had an accident where I cracked my head and herniated 2 discs in my neck, and I lost all cognitive capabilities. That's when I met Diana, and Mark introduced me to James Taylor, and they put me in all these machines at that clinic and a couple other ones in North Miami, and they were able to bring me back to normal within about 3 weeks. It was crazy. I went from wheelchair to like fully functioning because of all the technology that they put me in. So I'm like 100% on fire for that. And we want El Salvador to be a retreat for people where they can get relief from financial tyranny, physical, distress, and go into the clinic and get those treatments while they're going through the blockchain university, or they can be a student come long term, but get their businesses restructured and understand what it looks like to get ahead of the curve when it comes to blockchain and all the things that Bitcoin has to offer for, the average individual right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of things that are happening in El Salvador are so good for the long-term health and well-being of the entire country.
I think not only the whole country, but the world. The way that he is setting the standard for how third world countries can come from where they are and just revolutionize by making specific decisions like introducing Bitcoin as legal tender. It instantly brought millions of dollars in investor funding to the country, right? And now you have a country that mostly imports everything and doesn't really have something to stimulate their business as a country, to something that's getting huge influxes of resources because they made a financial decision that was as simple as making a cryptocurrency legal tender, the cryptocurrency.
It's actually funny. A guy's texting me right now, and he's got somebody that wants to buy 10,000 Bitcoin, and they want to do an OTC trade, and it cracks me up because
I have 10,000 Bitcoin for sale right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I literally do. The contract's ready to go. What does he want to buy it with?
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a long time, and the U.S. is weird about money transmitting laws. So,
well, if he's trying to buy it in crypto or fiat, we want USDT. And if he needs it converted, what he has, I can convert it to the currency that they want. But I do have 10,000 Bitcoin right now available. I can show you the wallets after the call.
you got it. So,
Cool.
a lot of the things that you're doing, I think, all lead back to freedom. Bitcoin leads back to freedom. El Salvador leads back to freedom. Zero capital gains leads back to freedom because the more money you let the people keep, the better it is.
Well, the more we stimulate the economy. It's like if we have resources, we go start doing things that we couldn't do without those resources. And for me, as when I first found out about the private, which is trust and estates and everything like that, I didn't realize how far out there I was away from like the principles that I grew up on as a Christian even. You know, the Bible says that we're to be in the world, not of the world. We're supposed to Abraham's trust was the first trust. And so I went through unlocking what it meant to be a kingdom kid, you know, and building my trust and establishing a protective vehicle for my family that's keeping me separate from these governmental interfaces, but also knowing how to operate in commerce to facilitate saving funds for my family, like you're saying, that financial freedom, which then gives you physical freedom, it gives you mental freedom, and it helps your, you know, your overall well-being and the way that you can curate generational wealth for your family. And the Bible also says that you are to leave an inheritance for your children's children, or you are just as good as an unbeliever. And that was something that like I took to heart, but I never had an example of wealth in my family. We were poor. I mean, ridiculously poor, holes in the floor of my trailer park floor, you know, poor. And now I'm in a penthouse in El Salvador, in one of the most financially free countries in the world.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think what you're doing is teaching people more about financial freedom, because Bitcoin is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin is financial freedom. And I tell people that all the time. Bitcoin's not get rich quick, it's financial freedom. It's freedom to control your own money. Actually believe, I've been telling people this for 10 years. I don't think people understand in America, the banks are insolvent. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Pretend that 100% of the people wanted to go take their money out in cash from the banks.
Mm-hmm.
Could never happen.
Couldn't do it.
At best, a fraction of 1% would get their money out and the rest would be fucked.
Yeah. Because
That's why the government is so terrified about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is financial freedom. It's sovereignty. It's control over your own assets. Banks are so leveraged right now. Everyone's like, oh, my deposit's insured by FDIC. Oh, really? How
mm-hmm.
good are you at mathematics?
Mm-hmm.
FDIC has 120 some odd $billion in reserve to back up and protect $73 trillion in deposits.
Yep.
That doesn't work out. Figure out the math.
No, fractional reserve banking. And that's the thing that's scary about the central banking digital currencies that they're about to launch. If you look at the landing pages for the mass majority of those currencies, they talk about bringing fractionalized reserve banking to the blockchain. And so then you start diluting Bitcoin. You start diluting the power of people's investment into the blockchain.
They're going to dilute Bitcoin. They're going to dilute those currencies.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah, Bitcoin doesn't have fractional banking involved.
Well, no, but what I'm saying though is it's from a reserve perspective. If I can trade a coin that I just minted for Bitcoin, and I'm capturing Bitcoin like BlackRock's doing and keeping it in their pocket, and they're never going to release what they hold.
Well, surprisingly, BlackRock sold 100,000 Bitcoin this week.
I think that's because of the market manipulation. They're going to buy it right back.
I have a different reason, and I'll tell you why. I posted this on a podcast 4 weeks ago. If you have noticed, the Democrats are selling everything they can to launder as much money through Ukraine and everything they can. They're literally selling off wall equipment that was paid for by the taxpayers 4 years ago. For $5, you can buy $1.5 million worth of wall equipment. They're basically just doing a fire sale right now before they leave office. What's the last thing that they're going to have a fire sale for?
Bitcoin.
The 200,000 Bitcoin that the government holds. And recently they sold 60,000 of them through Coinbase.
Wow, that's crazy.
Transferred more to Coinbase, which theoretically means that Coinbase is shopping that Bitcoin and selling it on an OTC basis. Well, if I'm BlackRock and I'm a very big, powerful organization that leans very much to the left, and my buddies on the Democrat Party side tell me that this is coming, I might want to sell Bitcoin at whatever, 100,000, and then buy it back at 50,000 when I know in advance, I've been given the heads up that, hey, they're going to dump things. Plus, Bitcoin still is very much tied to the U.S. economy. And if the economy shifts and the stock market goes down, Bitcoin just goes with it.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that.
In Trump's first 100 days, the Democrats are going to basically try and kill the economy to make Trump look bad. So I actually believe we're going to see, just like we've seen in the past, you have a run up, set up all-time highs, And in some cases, we've seen Bitcoin retrace its steps 80%. I don't know if it's going to be 80% this time, but I do think that we're going to see Bitcoin come back. And probably, my guess is 50 to 45,000, somewhere in there.
I think that it's going to be a balance of whether Trump, as a master at what he does in every way, can facilitate enough awareness to have dollars influx into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, the mass adoption perspective, as a war against the countries that are working in conjunction and the corporations that are working in conjunction to facilitate manipulation of that space.
As much as I like Trump, the bankers are more powerful than Trump is. The 13.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Trust me.
Trillions of dollars have nothing against billions of dollars. 100%, or well, billions of dollars have nothing against trillions of dollars. I agree 100%.
And the Federal Reserve is run by 13 evil motherfuckers. And here's what nobody talks about: the Federal Reserve Corporation, independent corporation that runs America's money.
I have a plan, because the reason is that if you have a business offer, you have a need, and somebody made you a pitch, and that's the only solution that you have, then you get something like the Federal Reserve. I think that there is another solution, and as somebody who interfaces with some of the people who built Trump's personal blockchain, and he has a quantum computing system that a lot of people don't really know about yet. I think that we're in for a lot of
support. Are you referring to? Is that the legacy one or something he called? I can't remember what he called it.
No, it's called Koji.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear anything about it. Talk a little bit about that.
Koji stands for Kingdom of God Enterprises, and it is a quantum banking financial system. It's actually, I can't remember the website right now, so I'm not going to say it, but maybe I'll give it to you to put in the comments of this or whatever so people can check it out. But it's actually in a government organization. And they have their own QFS system that is coming forward with Trump, and it's ran by 12 AI agents named after the 12 disciples. So it's really freaking exciting.
That sounds impressive. I didn't even know about this. It's interesting.
Yeah, we work with one of the trustees, his trustees, and they came to us looking for our jurisdictional protection out of Aotearoa, which is something we're not probably going to have time to talk about on this. It's called
jurisdictional, like to El Salvador.
No, I have jurisdictional protection out of my relationship with the Maori in New Zealand, Aotearoa, New Zealand. And they are co-sovereigns.
British crypto?
Huh?
New Zealand has not been friendly to crypto or Bitcoin.
New Zealand is one of the the fastest adopting of the central banking digital currencies, actually. But I don't operate with New Zealand. I operate with their co-governor, which is the Maori Indigenous. They actually have a co-governance between the Crown subsidiary New Zealand and the Maori Indigenous Rangatira, which are like their crown chiefs. And I have built with my partner Mark the Sovereign Bank of Aotearoa, which is completely blockchain based.
Heal Estate? Is that Heal Estate?
Yeah, Heal Estate. Yeah.
What's up, Heal Estate?
He's over there taking care of the baby.
Oh, no worries. Somebody's got to take care of the baby.
Yeah. He wants to say hi. Hi.
I mean, it's not a proper photo bomb if you don't have the baby. What's up, chubby cheeks? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. How old is she?
9 months.
Oh my God, she's barely alive. She's almost a person.
She is a person. This one has the intelligence of a 3-year-old already. She's over here like, no, mama. Like, no, this is how things are gonna go. And she's my Bitcoin.
Look at all that hair. Look at that hair.
Here you go, Christiana. Say hi.
What's up, chubby cheeks? What's up, chubby cheeks? She's like, listen, I just want to change the channel. Let me, mom, let me grab the iPhone. I'm going to change the channel.
Yeah, she is. She will.
Yeah, I bet she will.
Chris, go like this. She can't see it. Go down a little bit further.
Yeah,
there we go. She's doing it. You're missing.
I'll give her something to get excited about. Hey, chubby cheeks, look.
Yeah.
Look, who is this?
Wow.
Is that?
The puppy.
Who is this? This is Gracie. Gracie has chubby cheeks too. All right, wait a second. There's another one. We got another one. We got another one. Who's this one? Hey, Chubby Cheeks, look.
Mira, mira. Wow, he's a puppy.
I know. She's mesmerized. she's
So cute. It's like, whoa, friends.
she's gonna love growing up in El Salvador.
This baby was born with 4 passports. So she's going
So,
to be in Canada, Brazil, United States, and El Salvador.
so Canada, Brazil. How did she get Brazil? From Mark?
Mark is Brazilian and Canadian. You're going to have to put your face in
Okay.
there.
So
Mama.
how'd you guys meet? How'd you and Mark meet?
An audio. She's going to cry. No, they're taking away. They're doing- Yeah. You know that.
You want my back?
No, you need to go.
They just peel the band-aid off.
You gotta go. It's the only thing. Oh no. Go help her. Go help him. Oh no.
What?
So Mark is Brazilian and Canadian. I'm United States, and then having her here, she by default gets the Salvadorian passport.
That's actually pretty cool. That's a great thing for a kid to grow up with.
Yeah, I didn't get my passport until I was 29, and like you said, I came from an impoverished family. Most of my family's never left the United States. My son got his at 9, and then my daughter was born with 4. So I think I'm doing all right with the generational curse breaking.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's awesome. Like, have you set her up with her own living trust yet?
Yeah, she's got all the things.
Oh, genius.
And Mark, you're actually going to love your interview with him. He was born a private person, a sovereign, because of the way that his grandfather served in Canada. And so we met on Clubhouse when Clubhouse was hot and popping in 2021. I was in there
Rest in
educating.
peace, Clubhouse.
I know my friend built Chatter. So I'm going to be focusing on utilizing at least the infrastructure for Chatter to launch my podcast. And then your
Chatter like Clubhouse? I actually never heard of that one.
You never heard of Chatter?
I mean, yeah, there's
You
a ton of
are
social media.
going to love Chatter. He built this like insane. It has the audio room capability like Clubhouse, but it has the capacity of a couple 100,000 people in the room, and it has video studio mode. You put studio mode, it goes into a full-blown podcast studio, and then you can stream to all of your social media platforms at the same time.
And it's
like
called
this
Chatter?
Chatter. Yeah, I'll send you an invite.
I guess
It's free. So he's been working on that because he
Where
has
is it out of? The United States, or is it a foreign?
Yeah, it's out of the United States. He
They could
launched. It's
They
in
could do
pre.
some marketing. If
Huh?
they're interested, I've got 30-second ads that they can run at the Super Bowl if they're interested.
I think that he would be interested in that, and also your podcasting AI assistant, and potentially, seeing about distributing his platform to your database. I think that we could facilitate some sort of partnership there. And he had the biggest running room, the Million Marathon, on. So you may have heard him speaking, but on Clubhouse, and he's hosted Grant Cardone, billion.
I tried Clubhouse like once or twice, and then it was just so weird. It was very like radical lefties, and I think I offended half of Clubhouse one day, and I just said, all right, enough of this.
I think you just got put into the wrong side of the wilderness, because our side of the wilderness is the exact opposite of what you're talking about.
Well, when I explained to them that Hillary Clinton has actually had 40 some odd people get murdered around her, they were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Hey, you asked me the question. I just gave you the answer."
You know what's so crazy is I actually met 2 people that voted for Kamala Harris.
It's Kamala.
Kamala. For Kamala, and Kamala, the way that they explained why they voted for Kamala, I realized how these people are actually brainwashed, and the craziest things, like that they would think against Trump, which I understand he's not a fucking saint, but he is.
Well, here's the thing. If Kamala won the election, Bitcoin in America would be dead. If they had another 4 years to screw and fuck with the cryptocurrency space, it would be dead. They were on their way to killing crypto in America.
Yeah, for sure in America. 100% in America.
They were banking friends of mine, because they work for a crypto company, couldn't even get personal bank accounts.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God.
Yeah. I stopped using Chase because Chase shut down my account because I pulled money out of my Coinbase account.
And that is why we developed our own blockchain infrastructure and based it out of a jurisdiction that is not penetrable by the public, Commonwealth, none of these terrorists at all. Our blockchain infrastructure is to bank the debanked and the unbankable and to facilitate an interface through El Salvador as the legal gateway where Bitcoin, people can come with their fiat into Bitcoin through El Salvador and then enter into the private sector and not worry about things like what you're talking about. Because that is just
Familiar with Jack Mallers?
Say that again, Zach Mallers?
Jack Mallers from Stripe?
Stripe, the payment processing system.
No, Strike, STRIK, the crypto, the Bitcoin platform.
No, I haven't interfaced with them yet.
Jack's a great guy. He grew up in Chicago where I grew up, different age range, but he's built some great stuff. Go look him up. I think you'll find him very interesting.
I will for sure. It sounds awesome.
He was one of the first people to set up Bitcoin in El Salvador. He actually set up that whole Bitcoin beach. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, Bitcoin Beach. No, I don't know it.
There's a part in El Salvador they call Bitcoin Beach.
Oh, El Zonte. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
So
awesome.
I
Yeah.
went down there. Then Max and Stacy moved. I think Max and Stacy live there now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't really follow people around because like I'm a developer by night and a mother by day. And then I also have a huge audience that I nurture on social media and a giant academy of students. So like
How big is the academy?
I have 6,500 women in business on one side, and then 13,700 individuals that I'm teaching about becoming a family office. So I built a technological structure on the blockchain that allows people to create a diversified portfolio. We own sovereignwealth.fund and worldtrade.center, and I've created decentralized versions of those things for people to establish their own little sovereign wealth fund. I created a smart trust protocol that allows for people to mint into the ecosystem, establish their identity on the blockchain, tokenize their soul's expression, trademark that, and then facilitate building out trust structures on the blockchain utilizing these decentralized funding protocols. And so, yeah.
Property development you're doing on the beach. You mentioned that earlier. I want to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this is to facilitate an educational platform for that, but also to welcome expats like myself that come into the country looking for a place to heal and learn. There's no 5-star location, not even really a 4-star location here. And so that's what the purpose of the beach is, but also the healing center, facilitating a 5-star resort that has the biohacking clinic center where people can come educate, rehabilitate their family financially, put these structures in place, and then leave knowing that they're a brand new person.
How many rooms or suites or hotel rooms are you going to set up on it?
Hold on one second, my baby.
She's like, Mom, will you just hold me? Will you just give me some of that milk? You technically are now literally epitomizing the whole Bitcoin mama theme.
That's who I am and what I am. Yeah.
You're literally hooking her up to the blockchain right now.
You know what's amazing is like in El Salvador, the breastfeeding thing, even though we're a super conservative country, they do not even care when you breastfeed. Whereas in the United States, it's a whole controversy. But we have 2 campuses that we're establishing that are going to have the stay part of it. So I think we're doing 200 doors in the main resort straight on the beach, and then we're doing these little smaller houses.
I was gonna say 200 doors. That's a big property.
Big. The property is huge. It's 102 manzanas, which is 178 acres, and we found. And the El Salvador has been promising to do another airport. And when we went to walk this beach, what we actually learned is they're building it right behind our property. So we found a location for an insane cost, like literally so affordable for this type of project, and right where they're building a new international airport.
How is housing in El Salvador? What's the average decent home cost?
You can buy a house for $50,000, and I mean, if you're living middle class in the United States, you can buy a house for 150. That's similar to your stay there, and then it goes all the way up to like $1 million houses because the housing is in such demand here. So you're not going to save on real estate so much or your rental, but you will save everywhere else. So for me, I'm living in a penthouse in the top of a building in the nicest area in El Salvador, in San Salvador, which is the capital. And my penthouse is relatively inexpensive compared to if I were to have this penthouse in Miami, I'd be paying about 15 grand a
Oh,
month for it.
what does it cost you now, if you want to say?
$2,500.
Oh, that's reasonable. And how many square feet?
It's freaking huge. I don't know how many square feet this is because they do it in meters, and I'm not that smart.
How many meters?
I have no clue.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I don't remember the number. Yeah, but I'll get that number for you and we can put it in the notes.
And how high is it? Like, I know you're in the penthouse, but how high?
This building is tall, is like the ceilings are taller, but I'm in the ninth floor. This one's not it was born the same year I was, so 1994. I'm not in a new building. But right outside of my house on all three sides are the newest and biggest buildings in San Salvador.
You.
The Google building is one side. My view is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Google
Yeah.
has a building down in El Salvador?
Yeah, Google just came because if you come to El Salvador, you can't use a navigator. So China's here. They just got here and built that giant library, and that's freaking amazing. And then Google came, in the building. The Google building is right behind me, and they have this big old sign that says Google, and they're here to do the mapping of El Salvador.
Interesting.
Everyone's here. Like everyone that's anyone is bringing money and resources into El Salvador.
How about Elon? Is Elon set up
Yeah, Elon
Tesla?
and Elon Book is
Okay.